the Niger Delta. So they can even make it more better come second.
Right. What has been the process? What has been the platform, of course, to nurture this talent, to continue to give them exposure, and as well for them to be well trained, to be, of course, the ones that will represent the country tomorrow? That's the question. Not hosting regional championship, and at the end of the day, we just host it for hosting reason. We cannot say, oh, the last regional championship was hosted last time in Akwa Ibom State, and as of today, we have about 10 athletes that were spotted in that month, and these athletes will be given maybe scholarship, will be given platform to grow their talent, and all of that. We've not heard all of those things. So for me, I'm considering the fact that as they are also planning to make sure they have a very, very befitting competition, they should also look at the area of seeing how to, spot our talents, and of course create a platform where these talents, can grow. Not hosting the competition every time just for hosting sake, to say, oh, Niger Delta were hosting competition, and all of that. And at the end of the day, they have nothing to show for. So there should be a platform where competition one of the best, in the world or maybe in the country. All right, they should also look at the means of trying to make sure they sports talents and create a platform where this talent, of course, will grow. That's what will make the competition very, very important. That's what will bring the beauty of the competition.
We go, but then we can tell you that the first edition recorded some minimal improvement. We see the second edition, as the organizers, the local organizing committee are already talking tough, making it very clear that they want to even make the second edition even more attractive. All right, away from that, the National Sport Commission has launched an integrity unit marking a major step in its ongoing reform to reinforce Nigeria's sport. The unit is expected to provide a coordinated framework for addressing age fraud, doping violations, and other forms of misconduct across the sector. Speaking on the development, the Director General of the Sport Commission, Bukola Olagbade, said the unit will work closely in all sport federations for Nigeria's sporting economy, championed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as part of a broader effort to strengthen governance and accountability within the sector. So a lot of grammar spoken in time past, Kingsley, in terms of addressing the age falsification and some of the fraudulent practices in our sport right here. With the new call by the International Olympic Integrity Unit that out of so many of the integrity unit owing to age falsification, we have adopted so many measures in trying to tackle the age, cheat stuff, but it looks not to be working out. Now, the new framework is to ensure zero tolerance to age falsification. Can we actually achieve this, or is it just about coming to make, some of these statements on the pages of newspaper? At the end of it all, the problems still remain untackled.
We'll see if it will be achievable. All right. The National Sport Commission, they've actually come up with a new approach at this point, and we'll see what comes up at the because they've done a whole lot when it comes to age cheating, in our sports right here. I just hope that they'll be able to come up with measures, all right, to be able, of course, to tackle all of this, and to make sure that sports is being competed fairly. In the country, there's a whole lot of issues in Nigerian sports that have, of course, really brought a setback. One is this age falsification. Another is, doping issues, and all of that. And then you talk about, competitions not being organized or having proper arrangements in going out, for, competitions like the Olympics, Commonwealth Games and the rest of them. We've always been we always find ourselves in a very difficult situation whenever we go out there to compete, at the Olympics. Remember last time where one of our athletes, of course, had issue of doping. I think one of was a boxer, had issue of doping, and she has to be disqualified. You talk about the issue where we didn't have a bicycle, of course, to compete. So all of these things are things that have, of course, brought huge setback to Nigerian sports. Age fortification is also one of it. Doping issue is also one of it. So I think with this measure or approach, by the National Sport Commission, I just hope that they will be able to tackle all of this, because it's not really helping our sports. The other countries are looking at us now at this point, So the way you present yourself, that's the way people will see you. So I just hope that this will bring sanity to Nigerian sports, at the end of the day. Yes, we've tried different measures, but I think now they've come up with another approach. We'll just see, of course, how it works. Like really come to realization, because if it works, the credit will also go to them. And at the end of the day, we having Nigerian sports being in a very good shape, that of course would be a good one. So let's just see what comes up. And as well, for Nigerians, those competing in the sports, be sincere to yourself. Don't see, it shouldn't be in a case whereby you are 20, you say you want to be 15. It's not good. Do things at the right time so that you can help other people for the country to grow as well. All right, you know that you're going for a competition, try and most kind to avoid taking prohibited substance, so that at the end of the day, because once you're caught, oh, this person is a Nigerian athlete, it dents the image of the country. So these are things that we need to build, we need to do to make sure that we actually take sports here in Nigeria, to another level.
All right, a persistent call for age falsification to stop continues with the renewed strategy in order to stem down the falsification of age and other fraudulent practices in the world of sport right here in the country. And we hope that this aim will be achieved so that our sports can move forward. But then let's talk boxing on the show this morning, as Muhammad Ali's grandson Nico Ali Walsh and former world champion Amir Khan have issued a strong warning to Jake Paul as he prepares to face Anthony Joshua on December 19th in high-profile heavyweight bout. Ali Wash, whose legendary grandfather, Muhammad Ali, also was one-time world champion, stated, and I quote, that this fight is more like a life-threatening one against a two-time heavyweight champion. So the grandson of Muhammad Ali the Great has also jumped on the warning notes and signed against Jake Paul, taking up this fight against Anthony Joshua. But then, beyond the warning that this match is a mixed match, take a look at the money that is involved in this bout. About 270 billion plus that is said to be splitted among these two. Take a look at that huge amount of money. Is it not attractive enough for you to go and test your mettle in the ring against a former two-time heavyweight boxer?
Mike, at this point in time, we're talking about life. We're talking about safety at this point in time. All right. Boxing that much. And when you take a look at it, the man is not in any way compared, to Anthony Joshua. Even in weight. The other day, I saw when he was complaining about Anthony Joshua's weight. Joshua weighing about 111 kg, while him is weighing about, I think, 103 kg. Of course, you understand what's, what comes up when a boxer has more weight. That means his punching power is going to be strong, very, very strong. If he lands on you, possibly you might be on the ground. So that's why so many persons are warning Jake Paul, why don't you see how to call off these bouts, all right? Because your life first before money at this point. So we'll just see what comes up as it stands. The bout has not been called off. So we have about, I think, is it 9 days, to the game. So we'll just see what comes up. But as it stands, for me, I think Jake Paul should just summon courage. A huge money at stake at this point in time. Maybe if you don't want to be if you don't want to be beaten mercilessly, just go in there. After maybe first round, second round, you take a punch and maybe fall on the ground and tell the ref, I'm not doing. You can face. So that's the thing for Jake Paul at this point. That's before you see so many persons putting up a warning like this. It is something serious. Someone warn you. Are you sure? Are you sure you can do this thing? All right. Are you sure you can beat him? Why don't you call up the bouts? But I think the money is also an attractive point. So maybe you should just go and try and see whatever. But as it stands, all right, thinking that Jake Paul will beat Anthony Joshua, it is something that we can't even imagine, at this point in time. But Mike, anything can still happen.
True.
Jake Paul might just go there and pull up a surprise. True. And the world will shake. So for me, I think at this point in time, you should just summon courage, get into the ring and try. It's good for you to try. When you don't try, you will not grow. All right. So for me, I think you should just go in there and see what he can do. If he's being beaten, fine. He's not going to maybe really dent his career. He was beaten by a professional boxer. Yeah. So for me, we'll just take a look at it and see how that bout, of course, will turn out at the end of the day.
Go there, try your best. Even if you lose, you get to take home this half of 270 billion naira plus. So I think the man has paid deaf ears to the advice coming from left, right, and center to think twice. As some have called this fight a mismatch, as some have said it is a life-threatening challenge if Jake Paul takes up this fight against a former two-time heavyweight boxer in the person of AJ Anthony Joshua. But then, which money comes with it? Just a few days before this one will go down, we'll see how it's going to pan out, whether Anthony Joshua is going to remain on track to revive back his career, or will he further face a heavy blow against Jake Paul. We'll wait to see. But then, in the world of tennis, world number one and former four-time major champion Arina Zabalenka will face Nikirios in a Dubai exhibition on December 28th, a match some fear could belittle women's tennis if she loses. Zabalenka, however, dismissed such concerns, saying the event is about fun and greater tennis and could elevate the profile of a women's sport. She acknowledged men are biologically stronger, but emphasized the match highlights a women's power and entertainment value. The Kyrgios, ranked 672, is returning from injury and played only 5 matches in 2025. The exhibition, orchestrated by their shared agent, will provide financial reward, though money is reportedly not the main motivator. The event evokes memories of Billie Jean King's 1973 Battle of the Sexes, which was a landmark movement for gender equality in tennis. So this one looking more like another case of Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Kingsley in the world of tennis, a woman wanting to, yes, go to the court against a man, Kyrgios. Not one of the top players per se, but then he seems to talk more than he plays, talking about Kyrgios. But is this one a match that should interest so many? Don't forget, some have said, okay, there is equality between man and woman as globally acclaimed in the Western world, but then some are also allaying the fear that this one is not a good match at all. But then I think it's just more like an exhibition game. But beyond the exhibition, is this going to affect the career of any of these two if one loses or not?
Somehow, Mike, somehow, if Arina Sabalenka is world #1 now in the WTA,
yeah,
why Kyrgios is a man who has just played 5 games, I think, this season, and then he's ranked 670 something. A player ranked 670 something, and I just managed to play 5 games so far this season, beating world number one in WTA. Would they say, would that belittle women's sports? Yes, that's the thing. That's the picture. Say, so that means these women, they are no match at all, even to the least. Kyrgios, supremacy, in the female angle as well. All right, but it should be more damaging for women's sports if Kyrgios should beat Arina Sabalenka, and that's what people are saying. This will belittle female tennis. That maybe people will not see anything much, important. That no matter how good they are, even the least male tennis player, of course, can beat them, at this point in time. That's why Arina Sabalenka, of course, is saying that, some persons are saying that this might not, of course, go well for female sports, that she should rethink, and all of that. But she has actually come out to clear the air that it's for fun. Okay, no matter who goes down, or at this point in time, no matter who goes down, that is just for fun, not too much, of course, attached, to it at this point. So we'll just see how this one, of course, will go down. But we hope that it doesn't, of course, bring that narrative, do not stay, because if it happens, it's going to water down the image of female sports. Just talk about them bagging a sponsorship deal, and all of that. It's going to take down the competitiveness, of female tennis, at the end of the day. So we'll just hope that that narrative, no matter what comes up in this one, do not really hold water, because if it does, I think there's going to be a whole lot that might be going on around the WTA, as it stands. But let's just say it goes. The organizers have actually tagged this to be fun.
Yeah.
So we just hope that no matter the outcome of the game, we'll just see it as fun and nothing more, attached to it.
Fun. But I can tell you that a lot of interest will be shared among both players. Talking about Kyrgios and world #1 as we speak right now. So for the female, they'll be hoping that their lady is going to, of course, represent womanhood out there. Why for the male? Yes, brotherhood. We'll be hoping to see the Kyrgios, show that indeed brotherhood still remains strong above their counterpart. But we'll see how this one will go. But then we can also tell you something big, that the WTA Yes, they've also struck a deal with the Women Tennis Association by a certain big Formula One company. Yes, a deal worth $50 million. Yes, in order to improve women ensure that there is an improvement in women tennis. A whole lot of financial bargain for the WTA, and I can tell you it's going to, of course, increase and elevate the level of women tennis standard. Massive deal, and they will say a very big congratulations to the WTA for striking this deal with that Formula One constructors company. But at this point, we'll take a quick break. When we are back in the second half, we'll talk football on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll also tell you that there are some big results that popped up in the UEFA Champions League last night as Madrid, yes, suffered yet another blow, and the tension mount on Xavi Alonso as we wait the official statement of the club president regarding the future of the Spaniard Xavi Alonso. We'll be back to take you through all of that in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Let's talk football on the show, but let me also remind you that in the first half of the show, we told you how the National Sport Commission, in collaboration with the Nigerian Athletic Federation, are working around the clock to ensure that the ugly issue of age falsification is stemmed down. While in the world of boxing, we told you that the grandson of Muhammad Ali the Great have also cautioned Jake Paul to be very wary ahead of the fight against Tony Joshua, as he labeled that fight a life-threatening fight. And of course, in the world of tennis, we also brought you a story that Nick Kyrgios is set to go head-to-head against WTA #1 in the world of tennis. And in the world of football, the Nigerian Premier Football League has confirmed that its 2025-2026 season will continue uninterrupted during the 2025 African Cup of Nations scheduled for December 21st, 2025 to January 18th, 2026 in Morocco. Unlike South Africa's PSL and other leagues that paused due to having many players in their national teams for the AFCON, the Nigerian Premier Football League will proceed because only 5 home-based players were named in Nigeria's provisional 54-man squad, and few are expected to make the final list. The Nigerian Premier Football League spokesperson, of course, a few days ago, made this very clear. The league will observe only a one-week break from December 30th to January 6th, while the mid-season transfer windows will, of course, open from January 1st to 30th. Reactions among players and coaches are mixed, as some believes there is no need to halt the league since a few Nigerian Premier Football League players are involved with national teams, while others argue that the AFCON deserve full attention and will have preferred a pause. Meanwhile, the 2025-2026 Nigerian Premier Football League season is currently at week 16, with Nasarawa United leading the summit with 30 points, followed by Ikorodu City on 28 points, and Rivers United occupy third position with 27 points with 2 games in hand as we speak. So Kingsley, divided opinion about the decision of the Nigerian Premier Football League board to, allow the league to continue despite the, African Cup of Nations when it is on. Is this a good idea? Not paying 100% attention to the AFCON, while other leagues like the South African leagues, the Egyptian league, to name but a few, are taking breaks so that a full concentration will be focused on the AFCON. We are going on with our league uninterrupted. Is this a good idea?
For me, I think it's a good idea. What's the need of halting the league when you know that bulk of the players that will be at the AFCON won't be coming from the Nigerian Premier Football League? If you look at the South African league, almost 80% of the players are coming from the league. So that's why they're halting the league at this point in time, because when these players have been taken from these clubs, the clubs, of course, will find it difficult to execute their games. Yeah. That's why they have to make it very fair by halting the league. Even the Egyptian league, of course, we're talking about, most of the players are also coming from the league as well. But we don't really produce players that will go to the AFCON. The league does not really produce. So why halting the league and they want to pay full attention? And at the end of the day, you will start complaining of meeting FIFA calendar or maybe European calendar, and all of that. So for me, I suggest the league, of course, should continue since the teams will not be affected. All right. I don't think from the list we're expecting from Eritrea, I don't think we're going to see a lot of MPFL players. Highest we might see just 2 or 3. So why halting the league when you know that the teams are not affected, at the end of the day? So for me, I think the league should continue. You ask yourself, how many Nigerians really follow the league? That's another thing that they will say, oh, we're going to miss the league, and all of that's the thing. So for me, let's just let the league continue, and let's see what comes up, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to meet up with the European calendar and finish the league when we're supposed to finish. So much of this breaks, at the end of the day, brings delay, to the end of the league. For the league, of course, to end on time, we of course, still playing, and at the end of the day, you see other leagues, of course, coming to an end, and then Nigerian Football League, of course, is still on. So let's try most of the time to meet up with the European calendar, which, of course, we've been clamoring for, for some time. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why the Nigerian Premier Football League should be halted while the African Cup of Nations is on.
All right, a mixed reaction from different quarters. Some have said, let's go for a break and pay full attention to the AFCON, while some are also saying, what is the need of going to break when we have just a few players, 4 or 5 of the players right here in the Nigerian Premier Football League joining the senior national team, which might possibly be reduced to either 2 players, taken alongside the other players. So we just wait and see how it's going to pan out. But then the AFCON proper is where we head right now, because Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell is expected to announce his final 2025 African Cup of Nations squad today. But the Franco-Malian tactician will be forced to make difficult decisions due to injuries to several key players ahead of the tournament. Kingsley, key players like the #1 safe hand, Stanley Nwabali, still nursing injury, likes of Felix Agu. We talk about Benjamin Frederick, Olai Aina to mention, but a few other players that are, that may be feared not to be fit for this AFCON. Will this really trouble the coach in terms of selecting his first 28-man squad?
And I think that's why Richard has really, of course, taken his time. Today is the last day for him to release the leagues.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot, I think, have actually gone on. The Nigerian Football Federation possibly might also be influencing that list. And it talk about the injury worries as well. Could also be, one thing that will give Eric Chell a headache in terms of putting up that list at this point. So when you have key players like Olaoluwa Aina, they talk about one man who have also been very fantastic, Benjamin Frederick as well. These are players that has been very, very instrumental for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. William Troost-Ekong has retired. So you ask yourself, how is the defense line of the Super Eagles of Nigeria going to be? In the last African Cup of Nations, Ekong was very instrumental with Calvin Bassey as well. Now he's out. Frederick is injured. How do we do now, in the defense at this point in time? So a whole lot at stake. I just hope that, Eric Chell will be able to do the right selection. And for me, he shouldn't allow people to influence that particular list. He should be able to stand his ground, select the players he feels can possibly, of course, put up a very impressive performance. Because if you allow people maybe at the glass house and say, pick this one, at the end of the day, when you fail, when the team do not get the job done, the consequences will still bounce back on you as a coach, and possibly you'll be fired, at the end of the day. So make sure you stand your ground and pick the players, you want to pick, at this point in time. So for me, I think a whole lot when it concerns the list of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Other countries have released their list already. Some are already in Morocco, trying to get themselves acclimatized with the weather condition and every other thing down there. We were still talking about releasing our main list, at the end of the day. So I just pray that God will help Eric Chell in this difficult situation.
Big time of decision making for the head coach, the Franco-Malians, as the release of Nigeria's final 28-man squad for the 2025 Cup of Nations AFCON is currently in doubt due to some influential members of the glass house wanting to dictate the players that should make the final list. And this is not a good one, Kingsley. Just like you stated, at the end of it all, if this coach goes on to fail, maybe by not getting to the final or possibly winning the title, blames will start coming from Nigerians, not knowing that the final list was influenced by key members of the glass house. And this is where the coach should stand his ground, to say, okay, this is who I want and this is who I don't want. But if he keeps quiet, then he should take the blame. But what do you make of the idea of some key members of the glass house trying to influence this list?
I think it's bad. It's very, very bad. It will not take football forward because even some of these members of the glass house trying to influence maybe the list, to say some of them do not really know what it takes, to coach a team. Some of them do not really what it takes, to run in the field. This player you're trying to say he should come, pick him and all of that, is he good enough? Or you just want him to be at the African Cup of Nations so that you sit down and relax and watch him, oh, that's my boy. But you're not thinking about, oh, the glory that we will get if we have the very best on the pitch of play. All right? The fact that Nigeria will be well rated when it comes to football. So these are the things. It's not personal glory. This one is a collective, glory at this point in time. So we should do something that will benefit everybody. It is not actually a good one that every point in time, men at the glass house who want to be influencing lists for a crucial competition like this. All right, I just speak to Eric Chow at this point. I don't know what is really going on as it stands, because for this list to be delayed up to today, which is the deadline day, something is actually going on. What is there for you to set up a 28-man list? Taking a look at the arrays of stars we have. What's really, even though some of the players are injured, at least you should have seen how to make sure you closing the gap, pick up select players and put it out there and get yourself ready. Now today is 11. We just have about, let's say, 9 or 10 days to the African Cup of Nations, and you're releasing your list. And FIFA has said players will be coming back, all right, on the 15th to their different nations. What time do you have? Your list is not out. The players do not even know if they will be at the AFCON. They've not even made up their mind. Terrible. So I tell you, all of this thing is a huge distraction, and I just hope that maybe Eric Chair will look for a way to manage all of this situation and see how far, of course, he can go in the competition. The NFF has given him target of semi-final in this African Cup of Nations. That's a huge one. With all of this distraction, I just hope he'll be able to achieve that at the end of the day.
Pressure mounting on Eric Chell by key stakeholders to influence the final list of the 28-man squad, and this is going to be a very challenging one for the coach, because if a coach wants certain players and key members or stakeholders say no, I don't want you to use this player, then it becomes a problem for the coach in terms of getting his own UEFA Champions League, as Manchester City came from behind to beat Real Madrid 2-1 on Wednesday night in the UEFA Champions League, and leaves Xavi Alonso's position as a head coach of the Spanish giant in grave danger without injured superstar Kylian Mbappe. Madrid took the lead through Rodrigo goals, Nico Orelli and Erling Haaland's penalty sent City ahead at the break and ultimately secured Pep Guardiola's City the 3 points. Spanish media reported in the lead up to the game that a defeat would seal Alonso's fate as Madrid head coach, although his team's performance was credible despite the several outcomes at a frustrated Bernabeu Stadium. A record 15 times UEFA Champions League winners have now won just 2 of their last 8 matches across all competitions. League phase of the UEFA Champions League table. Pressure continued to mount on Xavi Alonso after that, early goal that they took the lead, courtesy of Rodrigo's goal. But then they allowed Manchester City to come back into the game, draw level, and took the lead. Well, we're talking about the fate of Xavi Alonso. This result has further worsened the position of Xavi Alonso as we speak. Will he be fired?
It's looking likely, all right? Looking likely, because it's been a poor result. Winning 2 of your last 8 games out of all in all competition, a Madrid team. I think for me, it's not really a good result at all, not a good record. I think Xabi Alonso might not, last as a Real Madrid coach from the way the results are panning out, as it stands. Really, really a terrible one. They were leading in that encounter. All of a sudden, they fell short, and we saw Manchester City coming up, of course, to capitalize on that one. I tell you, with this result coming out, it might not be easy for Xabi Alonso.
Yes, let's have the full result because Qarabag were beaten at home by Ajax 4-2. Villarreal also lost at home to FC Copenhagen 3-2. Atletico Club played the zeros against Paris Saint-Germain, while Bayer Leverkusen also held at home by Newcastle United 2-2. It ended. And of course, we can also tell Tony Madueke won man of the match because he provided 2 goals as Arsenal, yes, continue their 100% perfect record in the UEFA Champions League, making it 6 out of 6 and becoming the first team, yes, to qualify for the next stage of the UEFA Champions League. But time is certainly against us, but don't worry, we'll make a return by 6 p.m. to take you through some of, the show this morning alongside Emmanuel. My name is Emmanuel Mike. You can go down to our different social media handles and, of course, continue the conversation there with us. I will certainly, reach you back. But for now, we are saying have a very great day ahead.